Good afternoon, Professor. Today we are going to present for advance number 2 and 3 for the team number 2. Our project is to improve the production process of chocolate bar in La Española. This is for team members. As it can be seen in the slide, it's Pacheco Melanie, Quijandría Débora, Rivas Anayeli, Toro Jessica, and who is speaking, De la Sota Carla. Next slide, please. So first we have our index, and we are going to see the four from the point number 4 to the point number 10. So we are going to present the project quality management, the project communications management, the risk management, the procurement management, the recommendations, the conclusions, and the reference. Next slide, please. So first, let's remember that this project will be executed during a scheduled time of 4 months. Based on the duration of the activities required for the full implementation. These activities range from the planning and organizing of resources to the implementation of the project itself. Next slide, please. So here we have the critical path of the project. We have make like a list of each activity. So we have put each one like a letter of in each activity. We have from the start to the end, we have A, B, C, D to the O. So we also have the predecessors. We also have the durations in weeks and in days. So in the graph, we can see that which is in line red is for critical path, because we can say that the slack time is 0. So in the line of critical path, the activities have 0 float, which means that these activities have a non-flexibility in their start and finish times. So we lack time in that path. Next slide, please. So here we have the calculation that we have made. We have the activity, the predecessors. We also have the time that it's the duration of each activity. And we have all of this in days. So we have optimistic days and like a duration of optimistic and a duration of pessimistic. We have made that the calculation with the formulas, and we have an expected critical path. We also have the standard critical path and the variation critical path. We change it from days to weeks to make it more easy to see it in months. So we have made the calculations, and we have the standard, the critical path, and the zeta, which is the probability. We have put 99% of the probability, and there is a 99% that the project will finish in 11.94 weeks, which means that it's a high probability that will end in 3 months. Next slide, please.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the project quality management. It includes the processes and activity that determinates quality policies, objectives, and responsibilities, so the project will satisfy the needs. First, we have the cost of quality. There are the conformance codes that it means money spent during the project to avoid failure, and non-conforming cost. That means money spent during and after the project because of the failure. First, the conformance cost has two types of cost: prevention cost and appraisal cost. Prevention costs are the costs incurred to prevent an anticipated failure that may occur during the execution of the project. For example, in training of production and packaging area and machinery maintenance. About the appraisal cost, these are the costs incurred for the respective evaluation in each phase of the project. For example, the evaluation of the production team to know if they are complying with the established improvement, and if these improvements are satisfactory, and about measuring productivity. Also, and it's important to monitoring compliance with the contract for the purchase of machinery and the inspection of the production area. About the non-conforming cost, they have two types: internal failure cost and external failure cost. In internal failure cost refers to failure between with a company between the company. For example, the cost of machinery repair due to improper use, or because of the poor implementation of the improvement. This results in weights in the products or the inputs, and in reworks and bottleneck. About the external failure costs refer to failure that are seen outside the company. For example, orders out of time, loss of clients, and cancellation of the machinery contract. Next slide, please. Now, these are the tools used to assure the required quality in the project. The tools are the Ishikawa diagram, where we identify the main problem is inefficiency of in production capacity and downtime. These are generated in production of chocolate bar, and the main cause of the problem are the lack of personal training, lack of the defining work method, and bottlenecks and unproductive times. Another tool that was used is Pareto chart, where the frequency with which this problem appear in a week is high. And finally, it was identified the deficiencies in capacity or in production of chocolate, and unproductive in times and bottlenecks are the main problems, and to which more attention, and this we should be paid to ensure that the quality of the project. Next slide, please.
Okay, the RACI diagram for the project. The RACI diagram is the management tool used to clarify roles and responsible with the project process or activities. It's divided for 4 letters. The letter R is responsible. A is the person or people who are responsible for performing the tasks. The letter A is approve, the person who has the final responsible authority to approve the work performance. Leader is consulted people who provide information or resources necessary before the task can be carried out. And finally, the leader is informed, the people who must be informed about the process of the task. In this case, according to the activities in the phase 1, the person responsible is the debt management. The person consults the project team and the project sponsor. A person approved is the project manager. In the phase 2, the responsible is the project team. Person informed is the project sponsor, and the consultant is the project management. In the phase 3, evaluation of testing process and packaging area, the responsible is the project team. And the consultant, the debt management, inform the project sponsor, and approve is the project manager. Phase 4, project execution. In the responsible principal is the debt management. Inform the project sponsor and project team. He approved the project manager. In the phase 5, in the personal responsibility is the project team. The informed is the project sponsor and project there. And consulted 2 is the debt manager. And finally, in the phase 6, it depends on the activities, but the main responsible is the project team. Next slide, please. It's the resources selection and identification. It's divided in 2 parts, equipment and people. In equipment, it's necessary that machine suitable for the process, appropriate personal protective equipment, tools of machinery, maintenance, and adequately electricity. And the people need the project management, project team, special for training and sponsor. Next slide, please. This is the team building techniques. It's divided co-location, virtual teams, communication technology, and reporting and rewards, meetings, individual team assignment. For example, if a co-location is necessary because it enhances collaboration and communication by physically locating team members in the same geographic area. The virtual teams is necessary because facilitate collaboration among the team members through digital communication tools. Communication technology improve communication efficiency by using advanced tools and platforms. The recognition and rewards is necessary because motivate novel individual and team accomplishment through recording rewards. The meetings provides a forum for the team members to discuss process, address challenges, and align on goals. The individual and team assessment evaluate the individual and team performance to identify strengths, weakness, and areas for improvement. These techniques are designed to address different aspects of the team dynamics, from the improved communication to motivation, and recognize implementing these strategies can significantly contribute to the building and strengthening effective training. Next slide, please.
Okay, now I'm going to start with the project risk management. Next slide, please. First of all, we have the SWOT matrix. We are considering in the trade the quality of its products is the key to trade, and in turn, this allows it to continue consolidating a strong reputation for the brand in the market. Then the good relationship that this company has with its suppliers and distributors and its staff. In witness, we consider that they are a good management indicators, and there aren't guidelines for the strategic directions. Also, the company has machines and few standardized process, and the lack of knowledge of the function and operation personnel in charge. In opportunities, we found that this company has to adopt new technologies to improve operational efficiency and product quality, has to collaborate with local farmers to source high quality cocoa and support farming communities, and the growing demand for the healthy chocolate products. This need can be a good opportunity too. In threats, we consider the rise of the dollar can be difficult for our unstable politics. The larging power of the cocoa supplier is high too. And finally, the variation in the climate could affect cocoa production, and it can impact in the supply of raw materials, that is the cocoa. And then we consider, for example, like a strategic investment in machinery that can help us to optimize the chocolate production process while maintaining product quality. Invest in the implementation of indicators and a standardized process management to improve operation in the manufacturing plant. Improve the purchasing and production management areas, and finally develop an action plan to cushion to impacts of the economic instability of the production and manufacturing of chocolate. Next slide, please. Okay, we have the identify risk. It's important, this diagram, because we have to know the consequence and the probability that any risk will occur without losing a sign of controls implement, because these parameters will help us establish the risk level that we're studying. For example, we consider workers in the area aren't correctly trained, and its risk can be bad development of the project with an effect that is confusion and misdirected deliverables. We must study in depth all the factors that can influence the causes and consequence. So we added to this prevention allow us to save the cost. We consider a range of probability and impact signs, low and high. Next slide, please. Okay, in risk breakdown structure, we consider this is therefore a hierarchical structure of project resources. The value of this risk breakdown structure lies in its ability to define the entire scope of work to be performed on the project. Next slide, please. Okay, then we have the risk management plan. This risk management plan is important because provide us available information about the potential obstacles and challenges that we can confront that may arise during the project. For example, this allows the team to make informed decisions too, taking into account potential risk and their implications. We'll consider 8 risks in this case that we found. For example, the investment cost is greater than the project earnings, more complex process that is difficult to do, for example, and budget increases. The causes too, for example, adequate forecasting was not performed. The trigger, for example, the project is not profitable, and its probability, in this case, we consider 10%, and the probability of its impact, and the probability of the severity of this risk, and a plan action or mitigating action that in our first risk is evaluate variables that have a greatest influence and impact and follow-up of them. It's similar with the other risk that you can appreciate in this diagram. Next slide, please.
So now we are going to talk about the project communications management. Yeah, so we are going to present the communication matrix, which is a tool that will help us in planning, tracking, and managing communication over the project. It provides us with a structured approach to identify the communication needs of the different stakeholders and ensures that the right information is delivered to the right people at the right time. So in this table, we have the project team, the company, which is La Española. We also have the production manager from the company La Española, the general manager, project manager, and also team of operations management. We also have the types of communication, which is push communication and also interpersonal communication. The frequency in all of this matrix is as required. And we also have the format used, which is reports and mails. Next slide, please. So now here we have the communications issues. This refers to the challenges and problems that arise from ineffective or inadequate communications within a project team or between stakeholders. Poor communication can lead to misunderstandings, delays, increased risk, and ultimately the project failure. So here we have this type of table of matrix to see the priority and the severity, and also the status of these issues. So we have 6 issues in this table, in this project. So for example, we have the issue of sending irrelevant information. We also have the bad internet connection, the poor collection of information. Also, we have that there are no lines that interconnect employees and bosses in the company. And also we have the resistance to communication. This is reported on the period elapsed from the fortnight of August to the present, and is reported by the work teams and the logistic manager of the company. This is the areas and also the severity. We can see that there are three issues that have high severity, one of critical severity and one of low severity. And almost all these issues have a status of closed. Next slide, please. We also have here the communications flow curves. In this project, several communication blockers could potentially arise. So identifying and addressing these blockers is crucial for ensuring the success of the project. In the figure, we can see some communication blockers that may be relevant to this specific project. So, for example, we have that departmental barriers. The issue here is the lack of communication and collaboration between different departments involved in the process of make this chocolate bar, such as production, packaging, quality control, or distribution. So a solution that we have think about this blocker is to encourage cross-functional communication and collaboration in the company. We also have poor feedback mechanisms. So the issue in this is the lack of structured mechanisms for providing feedback on the current process or proposed improvements. So the solution is to establish clear feedback loops where all of us can share their thoughts, their concerns, and some suggestions. Encourage a culture of constructive feedback to drive continuous improvement. Next, we have the resistance to change. And well, here the issue is that team members or stakeholders may resist changes. We also have inadequate documentation, which is the lack of clear documentation regarding the new processes. And we also have the insufficient training, which is that workers may not have the necessary skills or knowledge to understand or implement a new process. Next slide, please.
The project procurement management will be detailed in 3 steps. First step in planning procurement. It consists of detailing the document for the 3 machines to be purchased, the specification requirement, the potential supplier, the selection criteria, and the type of contract for the project. Second step, the conduct procurement. After developing the previous step, the project procurement management evaluate the suppliers, offer negotiation with her, and select the best supplier that the contract for the purchase for the 3 machines is made. Ultimate step is controlling procurement. Monitoring is carried out so that the conditions of the contract are met and that the machinery arrive in optimal condition at the final destination. In this process, a change of contract or a claim is possible. Recommendation and conclusion. Is a recommendation verified that the information provided on the project charter is consistent with the document, such as the work breakdown, extrusion, scope description, and initial budget. For any type of project, it is advisable to perform the project canvas, and this allows stakeholders to have an overview of everything that is going to be object and detailed away. In conclusion, the WBC is crucial in project management as it provides an organized and structure for planning, execution, and controlling work and project facility the overall success of the project. The improvement have led to great efficiency in the production process. This results in faster production and overall optimization of resources. Thank you for your attention.